What's going on, RuneScape.com and YouTubers, fellow YouTubers? This is just a video I'm making as an update because a buddy of mine's twisted my arm to spill the tea on the updates, whatever. Keep content coming, whatever. He wants to see what I'm working on. So that's what this video is kind of going to be about. What I've been doing for like the past 12 days, just to keep making videos. And shout out to everybody who subscribed. Shout out to the members, whatever. Yoyo and Chill, 07.gg. Hope your company's doing good. Shout out to EK, Nexine, Pathos 4, Lucian Stolas, and then Micra, the new one, whatever. I think that's all of them. So thank you guys for supporting me, whatever. While I try to figure everything out and then pick where I'm going content creation wise and shit. I still want to create content, but I've kind of got the dev itch right now. So most of what I've been doing for the last 12 days is just poking around different development projects, whatever. So I'll get into that. Like a little bit of it was that, I had to go to the hospital or whatever, not me, for my son for surgery. And just to try to summarize why that's kind of a obstacle, kind of a thing I got to deal with is like he's got a genetic condition where we already got to take him to the hospital once a week for 6 hours to get enzyme infusing because he has like a genetic disease that if he doesn't get these enzymes, he'll progress and eventually pass away. So that already complicates it. But then because of his genetic condition, everything that happens to him is also more complicated because of like he hates the doctor because he hates going there and he doesn't understand what's happening. He's only 5. Then he had to get a tonsillectomy and then his adenoids cut out or the regrowth cut out and then a hernia repair and then tubes put in his ears and all this other stuff. And we thought it was just going to be one day, but they wanted us to stay overnight, which, complicated everything further. And we had to give him this whole battery of like medication, which he like resisted every step. So that was super complicated, whatever. So that took up a lot of, I'd say like 20% of the time, just like having to go to the hospital and then have to stay the night with no supplies. So I just sat there with my phone and just kind of didn't have anything to eat really. And whatever, it was miserable and miserable for him, obviously too. But like that, I just wanted to say that for context. Like part of this is like kind of, I don't know what this is. This is kind of just becoming like a random update video, but whatever. So bada bing, bada boom, we got that. So previously in a stream, nobody watches that, but like this guy, Shine Talent, he's my biggest fan, biggest hater, whatever. He probably disappeared by now, but because I'm not fun for him anymore. But like he was talking shit, saying like, your channel sucks, you're killing your channel, your family's gonna, you're throwing your family under the bus, whatever. But he had no idea what I was doing to make money. I have a significant amount of savings. And then also on top of that, I'm doing like subcontracting work for a buddy who's a Salesforce consultant, and then like doing other odd tasks for them, like data migration, other random piddly stuff like that. So why that's important is because screw that guy, I'm the man. I'm just kidding. Don't talk shit before you like got details about what you're talking shit about, I guess, is a little lesson there. And then the other part of it is that like it was just funny that I was doing like, oh right, so the contracting our customer, whatever, there's some issues going on, so that kind of slowed down to almost nothing right now. So I have a significant amount of time to figure out what I want to do. Okay, you guys, you saw my big emotional reveal, right? My big emotions, all my big emotions. But then it's like, so what do you want to do? And it's like, I haven't really had the urge to play like video games. I played Diablo 3 season 36, I think it is, or whatever, and just kind of played that for like 14 hours straight, and that was really fun. And I might play that more, but like I haven't really had much drive to play video games because like all that's left right now is like this huge. One of my biggest desires is like create things, just build in general, but like in that I want to develop games. I have a lot of dreams. I always spam my friends, spam random people, spam the random strangers who come into Discord and talk about the shit like that. Whatever. It's something I've truly been excited about. So I started poking around with like, I think random projects where I'm building everything from the ground up. Whatever, got a bunch of proof of concepts started for like games, and I started with like I started a Yu-Gi-Oh reinforcement learning AI project just to start learning those systems. I built that out a little bit, but I really wanted to like work on 7 days mod, 7 days die, because me and my girlfriend, when we first got together, we put like good 1,000, 2,000 hours into that game, just playing on PS4 in the basement, drinking beer and smoking weed. Smoking some ganja, bro. Anyway, mostly I just drink, but yeah, smoking cigarette. So whatever. So I ported the game to Alpha 16, which was like really whatever. I'm not going to bore you guys with too many details. I tried the old version, built an asset, modeled it in Blender, learned Unity a little bit, painstakingly dug through forums and stuff like that to learn how to inject in the old version because I wanted to go back to the version that me and my girlfriend played. But then I gave up on that because I was like a week to make a musket that fired a musket. And that was without animations or its own sound effect. I was using the other, I was like splicing models of like in-game assets and stuff like that. Anyway, that would 1/2 minutes of ranting. If you're here, subscribe, please. Thank you. Bang! Appreciate it. Comment, like, whatever. Trying to build, whatever. Who cares? Anyway, so beyond that, kind of gave up on that, but I updated 7 days because I gave up and I'm like, I'm going to bring the old to the current. And as that was happening, my buddy hits me up and he's like, this is important with the Salesforce context, by the way. My buddy hits me up and he's like, yo, bro, do you know anything about coding? And I'm like, nah, I do. Like a tiny bit. I can print like hello world in like 6 languages. Right? Based. Hella based. Anyway. So like, he's like, yo, we're starting a server for Grand Theft Auto. My buddy, whatever, he's serious about it. They want to do a role-playing server, and we don't have any coders, whatever. The team's really small. We have people to test and stuff, but I don't know anything about that. He doesn't. He kind of knows, and whatever. He's hiring some guy off Fiverr from Pakistan or whatever, and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, yeah, I'd be definitely interested. So I started checking that out, and then he's kind of MIA a little bit. I don't know if he's got some things going on or whatever, but like, I was just like, well, I'll dev on my end and then just like to learn the frameworks and all the things associated with it, like 5M and Lua and blah, 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 you know, all that boring stuff. But anyway, I kind of just jumped into it. So like for the past, like, let's say like 5 days, 6 days, something like that. I don't know. I've been just like really like designing and building. So that's what we're here to talk about today. Oh, that's important with Salesforce because I was doing a data migration and sorry, I'm just making sure something didn't pop up on the screen because the YouTube chat for the stream. This is what scene I'm using for OBS. But anyway, for the data migration, I had to use my SQL database. And lo and behold, GTA uses SQL. So I'm like, oh, perfect. I'll just jump into this. But yeah, so I have a bunch of work notes because my buddy I'm contracting for is trying to force me to formalize a career for tech or something like that. And I'm just like, nah, that sounds dumb. But I just started taking notes just for the sake of it. But oh, it's probably sensitive information. Is this? Yeah, whatever. You guys know now. Boom. There's my command lines. Anyway, so I got all the local dependencies and all the things. I don't know the words. But we got a server up and going for me to locally dev on. I have like videos. Let's just, maybe we can run through these videos of everything I've done so far, or I could just give you a quick. Nah, we'll just run the server down. So then we got to go to 5M, launch it up. But yeah, so like I'm working on this shit. So I'm like, yo, man, I just want to make my own server because like I work on this guy's server too, but it's kind of grown to the point where like now, and this is kind of like a big thing I don't really want to talk about with people because I don't like setting up expectations like with the Road to Max Plat. But I'm starting to find that development is all I want to do. So like I'm really having fun with this server or whatever. And there's not going to be a lot here. So, but I'll show you what I got. So essentially what I've worked on is, I think if I go to my resources configure first folder, resources here. So I got overextended inventory, whatever database is here, all this other stuff. Okay, I think that's because server list of the main game anyway, whatever. So I got like I used like a mod. I got this inventory system to replace the, what? We're airing out. My game broke from last night. What happened? Whatever. Anyway. So this is a new inventory overhaul for GTA that they, like, I've seen most of the servers use. So I use that just because then it links into MySQL here, as you can see, which then I got open source one called like Maria database or something like that, 12.0 or whatever. And it's pretty cool because it didn't work with my 8.4.5 or whatever that I was using. This is the wrong folder here. Yeah, server config. So I have a bunch of, no, that's server because I'm routing it to resources so I can better manage it for myself. But anyway, so we have like skills processing, dev speed, island pad, spawner, forest tile, instances, skill gathering. And I'm looking at this so I can remember to tell you guys what I made. So I had to learn, so far what I've learned is how to make models. So I made one in Blender. If I go to my resources here, maps, flat world here. So we have the stream here, and I learned about YBM, YMF, YDR, YMap, YType, whatever, and you use this program called CodeWalker. That is not the correct folder. Man, this is a botch video. But anyway, I was doing this for you, Mike. You better watch the whole thing. So CodeWalker should be right here, but you could use this to work on assets and stuff and work on YMAPs, or essentially work on the assets and then try to get them into the game. It'll load like GTA up, and then you can use that with like these tools it has, worldview, folders. I don't know. Like you could open, what is it, T? Yeah, T to open this, and then you can open a project folder, and then like, so it's loading the world right now. And you can move around like this. Gotta speed the camera up, whatever. So like for instance, is that the moon down there? Oh yeah, day and night cycle, cool. But anyway, so you'd like open a project here, folder or whatever, and then you'd find your folder, load it up, and then it would blop it into here so you can get world coordinates, and then just all the different little things. You use that to then like convert XMLs into, it converts the files into how GTA reads everything, and whatever. Bada bing, bada boom. So we're here. Spawn island 2. Spawn island, and then I'll teleport there to kind of show you guys what's up. So I have, oh yeah, the new UI. So this is a UI. It's very 7 days like. That's why I was really into it. And as you can see here, it kind of showed you what's going on. I have a tree cutting loop, and then I have, I'm working on, and that's what I was working on last night until I decided to go watch Shonda Rhimes Scandal. Me and my girlfriend really like Shonda Rhimes stuff because of the dramas. Anyway, so we have, let me just hop over here. This is my dev speed so I can fly around and do things. But if we go, right, so I made this map tile. Okay, I have one that's like 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer too, and I was using that for a Y map, but then I realized that I need to make objects so I can tile in instances and stuff like that, because what I'm going for is I want to like essentially, my grand vision for a server right now is to pretty much like MMO. It's like make my own RP experience. So I'm pretty much drawing from the thing I know best, which is obviously RuneScape. So I'm just kind of going off of like RuneScape-esque gameplay loops. And here we go. We can spawn an island. So this tile pops in, and then it procedurally generates this forest. And then we can walk up to a tree like a cool badass. And we can go command, which, whatever. This is all just alpha, whatever's before alpha testing. But we go chop, bang. He starts chopping the tree. He'll go through the loop, as you can see. It's got a defense level, and then we're doing a combat sequence every time we chop. And then if your wood cutting level is whatever, it rolls your wood cutting level plus your equipment against whatever the tree is, defense is, to then see if you get a loot in return. And it does that until a timer runs out, and then the tree will respawn. And this is obviously before balancing and stuff like that, just to prove the concepts, which then you get the maple log. You'll take the maple log, and once I get this charcoal retort to work, which it is broken right now, if we go 3 here, oh, it doesn't even show up on this one. I was trying to apply some fixes, but before what would happen, maybe I have a video of it. I don't think, oh, I have a picture here. It'll spawn the retort, as you can see, but that retort will fly off the map because it's not being, nothing's telling it to stay still or something like that. I don't know. I'm still working on it. So that's where I'm at. I plan to do, I guess I'll talk about the future of this. I want to do a post-apocalyptic server, not zombies. Maybe zombies, but the zombies will be like drug addicts or whatever, more from like the Fallout universe with like drugs and whatever. You know, like the fiends from Fallout universe, or like we could have, since, you know, this is post-apocalyptic, I could work zombies in with some sort of fungus or something like that. I like zombies a lot, but I want it to be more immersive. Like the zombie games I watch or play are very they feel empty. So like 7 days, for instance, there's a lot of world, but there's not a lot of life. There's like zombies and stuff, and it's very like whatever. maybe it's not even the best game. I don't play a lot of different games, whatever I play, what I play. But what I'm going for is like a fully immersed world where like there's a post-apocalyptic and then like the grid collapse type esque. Don't want to give away too much of the story because I worked really hard on it, and the story I've been working on that for years. There's gonna be a lot of lore, a lot of things. So if this does continue, I wanted it to be its own game, but I'm figuring that like modding and stuff is going to be a good place to just trying out systems and different things, and then putting out like iterative examples or ship products to people and see how people respond to stuff if I'm dumb, like with the story or the gameplay loop, whatever. Before I start to implement them into my own game, and this just kind of gets me going. Like instead of having to build all this animation myself, like modding from a game makes more sense from part-time perspective because they have all these assets already built in, and I'm just like expanding my ideas on top of the systems that are already in place. Like this forest is procedurally generated, but they're all props that the game already has. So I need to create, like I created the wood asset, but I need to create the charcoal asset, and then I'll probably need to model something in Blender because it's going to be a placeable crafting station that you use to converts biomatter into charcoal, and then that charcoal is going to have a bunch of other implications. And there's a million different systems that I have like randomly written down into a bunch of different notes, and there's like a bunch of spaghetti everything. But right, the story idea, post-apoc, grid down. Essentially, like what I want to do is like kind of roll back the power level of GTA to like cars. They have to run on gas, and gas is hard to find because the grid doesn't exist. There's gonna be like scavengers and fiend groups and whatever, different factions, and like camp. I'm trying to think of like a point. The overarching theme of the game in my mind so far is that like there needs to be an objective to complete. This is kind of where I'm at. So I want campaigns, I want like end game content, but I also want the players to have to keep the server alive. So that's kind of the thing. Like like 7 Days to Die, you struggle to survive, and there's all that like nice dopamine loops, whatever, from you starting to get gear, progress, level your character up, unlock these cool things, but then you get to a point where like now you're so overpowered, you're just walking around sorting your inventories, and then sometimes zombies show up. Like 7 Days, like you get to the power level where like you can completely AFK your base for the Horde Nights, and there's no like end, like in Minecraft has the Ender Dragon. So it kind of, and I don't even know about like what Minecraft has now because it's been expanded so much, but like there's so much, there's no end, there's no point to why you're doing all of it. Like, so there needs to be some sort of death or something like along the lines of that. So again, I'm trying to base myself because there's a million different thoughts going through my head right now, and I'm trying to just get this video done and not think about it too much. But so there's, I want to roll the world back to like a low power level. So like everything, just your standard shit hits the fan situation, grid down, low tech, bullets are hard to come by, guns are semi difficult to come by, and just even though you can find guns, it's even harder to find the things to get the guns going. So you have to like find like you can find shell casings to do reloading or whatever to get those guns online, but then you're going to revert back to like more primitive type stuff. And again, these are all just ideas. I don't know how it's going to even be technically possible to implement because I don't know if like bows and arrows even exist in GTA or whatever. I haven't really dug around that much. But like, so, like bows and arrows, animals hunting, food, survival elements, stuff like that, RP. I kind of I'm thinking about an RP element so people can play characters in the grid down. So you need factions, you need jobs, you need like systems that are in place, but they're going to be like the new world type stuff, like people who are emergent, like the, what is the word? Like Oregon Trail, what is that called? Frontiersman, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be like, very Fallout-esque. I love New Vegas, you got the NCR, you got the whatever, your main factions where you'll be able to do jobs and RP stuff. Maybe, but like I'm starting to lean towards more of a MMO, survival, persistent, whatever. And then so everything's rolled back, so you can find cars all over the place, but gasoline's really hard to come by, so you can either tech up to get gasoline, find the gasoline so you can use the cars, or you got to drag them back to your place and then use like a remodel. I love charcoal. Okay, so that's kind of what started this all off. So if you didn't know, you can convert, they've made models of cars that run on charcoal, like with charcoal gasifiers. So then you'd convert the car into like a gasified vehicle, Or, you know, eventually you'll skill up and get to the point where you're making like diesel fuel or like ethanol or like gasoline yourself if you're able to find whatever. But like, um, just I want all these like low tech to high tech progressions, heavily nerfed. GTA, I feel like there's a lot of power you just get for whatever. You get a lot of money for no reason. There's no player run economy. There's no whatever. But then, yeah, the overall arching theme is going to be like the server is going to die unless you and the players that hop on stop it. And then if the server hits those conditions where the world ends, like some whatever it is, like a whatever it is, then the world will reset, and then when you rejoin the server, everybody's starting over. So like that's kind of where I'm at for like a an objective for the server, and I know that's a huge goal or whatever, but it's just kind of like it's a bite of the game I want to build as a solo developer, which I feel like I need like 80 grand to cover my bills for 2 years before I'd even get to like a releasable alpha of that like that the type of scope and the dream I have for the thing I'm thinking about building. That's what I would need. So this is why I'm doing this for now, just to scratch that itch, and then maybe like find some whatever. Maybe there's some like content or whatever, some of the other people. I don't want to do Kickstarter. I don't want to do Patreon or something like that, because then it like puts an expectation on myself. I need to deliver something or else it'll upset a lot of people. I kind of just want to drop what I drop and then like see how people react to it and see if I can monetize that route or whatever. I have no idea. Like that stuff doesn't matter. The main thing I want to do is build games, and that's what I'm doing. I think there's a long enough rant. I think so. If you enjoy whatever, like concepts or anything like that, cool beans. Thank you very much. But it's pretty much all I have built. But like, I've only been able to get like 1 to 2 hours maybe a day with my parental responsibilities, chores, and the extra hospital stuff that we've been doing. So like, it seems like a lot happened, but there's like a bunch of notes here. Like, I guess I'll just run them down quick. So I started with animation, just whatever. This isn't that important, but just know like there was a lot of stages that happened to get to this point because I'm figuring everything out. So I guess more to come. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.